be the winner.
We were getting ready to win this election.
2 days after Election Day, and votes are still being counted in major battleground states.
All right, let's get you off this mountain.
That sounds like a great idea.
Search and rescue crews save a hiker stranded in Neff's Canyon.
The Church of Jesus Christ will now send thousands of missionaries to their original mission assignments around the world. Welcome to Newsline. It's Thursday, November 5th. I'm Allie Arnold.
And I'm Joseph Carson. 2 days after Election Day, votes are still being counted.
Tensions are running high around the 4 states, with results still too close to call.
We want to make sure that every vote is counted, and that's what we're focused on right now.
I'm not here to declare that we've won, but I am here to report when the count is finished, we believe we will be the winners.
Votes are still being tallied in Nevada, Pennsylvania, Georgia, and North Carolina. Together, these states have 60 electoral votes. The Associated Press says 375,000 Arizona ballots have yet to be counted. The Grand Canyon state has 11 electoral votes.
We were getting ready to win this election. Frankly, we did win this election.
We're going to win Pennsylvania, but they're trying to cheat us out of it.
President Trump has not spoken publicly since claiming victory Wednesday morning. He has, however, called into question the method of ballot counting in 3 states, threatening to sue and calling for recount votes. Trump tweeted ballots mailed after Election Day will not be counted, and to do so will lead to voter fraud. Twitter has flagged these tweets as disputed content.
The Utah race for the 4th Congressional District is currently too close to call. Democrat Ben McAdams is running for re-election and currently leads Republican Burgess Owens by only 2,000 votes. Right now, McAdams has 48% of the votes and Owens has 47% of the votes. 73% of votes are reported as of 10:30 this morning. In 2018, McAdams won his first race by 700 votes against Mia Love. The 4th Congressional District covers South Salt Lake down to Nephi.
A study by the Associated Press and the University of Chicago shows Utah voters this election have mixed views of our country's direction. They surveyed nearly 1,700 Utah voters and 359 non-voters to find out what Utahns believe are the most important issues facing the nation. 52% of those surveyed say the country is headed in the wrong direction. The 2 biggest issues voters say we are facing are the coronavirus pandemic and the economy, trailed far behind by healthcare, climate change, and racism. Registered voters who didn't vote say it is because they don't like politics, don't think their vote matters, or they aren't informed enough on the candidates or issues.
With ongoing election anxiety, Americans are looking for something, anything, to ease the tension.
Yeah, Rachel, how are Americans coping?
Well, guys, according to Google searches on election night, fries and beer are the answer for many Americans, while others are just using humor. According to Google searches for fries and liquor stores saw huge spikes on Election Day. People also searched for pizza, Chinese food, sushi, and Mexican food. Maybe they just wanted easily deliverable food so they didn't have to leave the house, but many say people are using comfort food and booze to ease their election anxiety. As far as election reactions go, there's a plethora of lighthearted content making its rounds on the internet. On Twitter, many are talking about the long wait for election results. Erica here says, refreshing my phone every 5 seconds to see if anything has changed. Hashtag election results 2020 with this GIF. Amelia says, opening Twitter today like, may I please get a crumb of good news? Now, a lot of people are specifically taking stabs at Nevada. Alex says, Nevada is celebrating Britney Spears Day today, and that's why votes are taking so long to count. Jeff says, live look at Nevada working on these ballots with this video of a baseball player making a slow race to home base. Jeff says, live look at Nevada with this gif of the sloth from Zootopia. Marianelle says, I want to find someone who looks at me the way everyone's looking at Nevada. And I agree with that one day. And finally, my personal favorite, Dom, says, Nevada really said what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Now, it's likely going to take quite some time for the official outcome to come out, so take some deep breaths, take a moment to check in with yourself. Back to you.
A Utah mother and son are killed after being shot in Nevada. Nevada police say 39-year-old Diana Hawat May and her 12-year-old son were shot and killed yesterday. Hawat May's 16-year-old daughter was also injured in the shooting. She is currently in critical condition. The family is from Sandy, Utah. Investigators say a police officer who responded and the possible suspect were also found dead at the scene. The Hawat May's family church, the Skaggs Catholic Center, led their congregation in prayer for the family and says the loss is tragic.
A 10-month-old baby who was the subject of an Amber Alert is safe, with her mother and the suspects are in custody. Police have arrested 34-year-old Angel Juso and 20-year-old Roddy Mike Monez for kidnapping and auto theft. The baby, Amalia Spratley Apkawaz, was in the gray 2008 Acura when the car was stolen in Ogden. It is unclear whether the suspects knew the baby was in the car or not.
She's gone into the home of an acquaintance, leaving the child in the running car and under the watch of another adult. Unfortunately, the other adult also exited the vehicle for a few minutes and went into the home. Moments later, when they both exited the home, the car and the child were gone.
The Ogden police sent out an Amber Alert at 10:45 a.m. yesterday. Several hours later, a witness saw the two suspects leave Amalia on the porch and drive away. The suspects are still being questioned by the Ogden police.
Salt Lake County's search and rescue team saves a hiker who fell 100 feet in Neff's Canyon.
All right, how we doing, man?
Hanging in there.
All right, let's get you off this mountain.
That sounds like a great idea.
The hiker and his two friends started hiking Mount Olympus when he lost his footing and fell. The other hikers called 911 and two search and rescue teams were called to the scene, as well as 2 helicopters. The hiker is at the hospital now, but the extent of his injuries are unknown.
Utah Department of Transportation warns drivers that SR 201 will come to a full closure tonight. The closure is for the construction of a pedestrian bridge over the road. The shutdown will occur between 5600 West and 72nd West. Eastbound lanes on the road will be closed at 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. And the westbound lanes are projected to be closed 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. UDOT has provided a detour map for the westbound and eastbound traffic during the closure online at udot.utah.gov. All lanes are expected to be open around 5 a.m. on Friday.
For the first time in a single day, the United States recorded more than 100,000 new coronavirus cases on Wednesday. Here in Utah, 2,188 new cases were reported yesterday. The state has 121,485 positive cases. Salt Lake County has more than 50,000 people who have tested positive for the virus. Utah County has about 31,500 with the virus. And the people of Davis County have 9,456 cases.
An 82-year-old inmate at the Utah State Prison in Draper dies after testing positive for COVID-19. The Utah Department of Corrections reported the death yesterday. They say the inmate had several health problems that likely contributed to his death. The man was found dead in his housing section. The exact cause of death will be determined by the medical examiner.
Several Utah high schools are moving online due to a rapid increase in COVID-19 cases in the schools. Syracuse High School announced a soft closure from November 5th until November 19th after they reported more than 15 confirmed cases of COVID-19. With 35 active COVID-19 cases, Copper Hills High School will transition to virtual learning beginning today until November 24th. Weber High School has at least 15 positive COVID cases and is starting a 2-week soft closure today. Cypress High School has 15 confirmed cases with additional referrals expected in the coming days. The school has ceased its in-person classes as well as all extracurricular activities until further notice. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints will start sending missionaries throughout the world again. NewsLine reporter Catherine Bennett spoke with several missionaries and tells us how they feel about seeing an end to the pandemic restrictions.
Church officials say health remains a top priority, but now feels confident to begin sending thousands of missionaries from their home countries to their original assignments in foreign missions. The missionaries will have to follow the country's laws regarding local COVID conditions and air travel restrictions.
Heavenly Father knows what He wants us to do, where He wants to be, and when. And I guess, as much as it kind of sucks sometimes to, not be on our plan, I guess He knows the long run what's going to happen and the blessings that will come from following this plan, even though it's not what we expected.
When the church pulled the missionaries from foreign countries during the pandemic, It dramatically increased the number of missionaries serving in the United States, often reaching 3 times the number of missionaries they had in the past. Sister Wing reacted to the new announcement, saying,
"It's going to drive me more to do work harder with my language study and try and work harder, but also I still have a job here to do in North Carolina, so I'm going to try and stay focused as much as I can, but still have that hope that I can get to Paris."
Despite the unusual and unexpected circumstances, missionaries remain optimistic and excited about the chance to serve.
I'm just happy wherever the Lord needs me, I guess.
The missionary department will need to obtain all the needed travel documents to help thousands of missionaries get ready to leave as soon as possible. Reporting for NewsLine, I'm Catherine Bennett.
Despite COVID-19 case trends in Utah, a lack of concern for the virus trends too. I went on campus at Brigham Young University to find out how people feel about relaxed COVID efforts and how one professor suggests we change our attitudes.
COVID cases, positive test rates, hospitalizations, and even deaths are on the rise in Utah. But at BYU, some seem unbothered. This frustrates those who have concern for the virus. Even though the pandemic affects everyone, its perception is unbalanced.
It's the complacency, I think, of at least half probably the population that is really frustrating, because if everybody took those preventative measures, this wouldn't be a problem.
BYU Associate Professor of Sociology Kevin Schaefer explains why the severity of the COVID numbers doesn't always match up with the concern for contracting it. He says part of it is due to our limited tolerance of isolation.
Unfortunately, one of the problems that happened was a lot of that capacity was used up early on in the pandemic.
So now, despite far greater COVID numbers than Utah saw in March, people no longer feel the urgency to protect themselves and others. Schaefer says part of it is also due to Utahns' strong sense of authority, and they haven't done enough.
I honestly believe that the leadership of this state has absolutely failed.
Since people are no longer voluntarily following strict guidelines, Schaefer urges officials to stop asking for action and start enforcing it.
I don't see it changing anytime soon without doing that. We're setting records.
But one positive Schaefer hopes to see is unity. When we work together, outcomes are better for the vast majority of people. He says to ask yourself, are you willing to do what is necessary to protect those most vulnerable in the community? Hopefully, the answer is yes.
Harsher restrictions are not expected from government officials, so it's up to individuals to wear a mask, social distance, and think outside themselves.
Many people are traveling for the holidays.
Make sure you take the necessary precautions and you can keep yourself pretty safe.
We'll tell you things you should know to keep your holiday travel safe and happy.
And we are yours, and we're not going anywhere.
It's the start of National Adoption Month. We'll show you what is being done to raise awareness for children in need of both family and home.
These new temple decorations rock. Find out how these painted stones are helping the community decorate the Layton Temple.
And this weekend's storm system is bringing us cold temperatures, strong winds, and snowstorms. How long to expect this winter weather? Coming up.
With Thanksgiving only weeks away, some are making the choice to fly home for the holidays.
NewsLine reporter Mandy Welker is in Provo.
With the holiday season coming up, Salt Lake International Airport is unsure whether or not to expect a lot of travelers this year.
But the pandemic has really put a
a twist in everything, and it's hard to really know what to expect.
Megan and Noah Pierce have decided to travel home for the holidays.
The pandemic has been going on long enough. You should spend time with your family for the holidays.
Visiting family this year will require extra preparations.
Just be smart. Like, plan ahead. Make sure you take the necessary precautions and you can keep yourself pretty safe.
Recent renovations at the Salt Lake City airport will also require extra commute time.
I would really encourage everyone to plan extra time when they're coming out to the airport because it's just different, and plus it's larger, so it will take more time to navigate.
The Salt Lake International Airport have also implemented new changes, such as only ticket passengers are allowed in the airport, face masks are required, and some middle seats are not sold on some airlines. Airlines are encouraging all passengers to book early and stay safe. Reporting for NewsLine in Provo, I'm Mandy Welker.
Thanks, Mandy.
Utah Foster Care opened the first session of their weekly forum for National Adoption Month. NewsLine reporter Ashley Chase tells us what future foster parents should be concerned about.
This week kicks off the start of National Adoption Month, which is meant to raise awareness for adopted and foster care kids. Utah Foster Care held a forum last night discussing personal experiences and answering questions from interested parents.
Hoping to share that message that it doesn't take people who wear blue tights and a red cape to do this. It takes normal, everyday people doing an extraordinary thing.
Utah Foster Care has held events for the kids such as chalk art contests and a trunk or treat. They also post weekly tips for parents of foster kids. Their resources are meant to make the transition as smooth as possible for both the parents and the children.
Not only helping people get into the process, but helping to stabilize a family so that their family doesn't disrupt again. The child's family doesn't disrupt again.
The forum emphasized to new parents the importance of giving stability and love to the kids and prepare them to return to their biological families.
But without the perspective that this child has had to lose something to gain you, is not having a perspective that is whole.
Gibson described how even a 19-year-old college freshman was adopted, not because she needed the hands-on care, but for the eternal family relationship.
She needed them to be there for her forever. And that's all that was, is that they were saying, you're ours. And we are yours, and we're not going anywhere.
Be on the lookout the rest of the month for an adoption appreciation event to reach out to those involved in adoption and foster care. You can follow Utah Foster Care and their events on Facebook. This is Ashley Chase reporting for NewsLine.
How does that work? Crews building the new LDS Temple in Layton want some help from the new neighbors. NewsLine reporter Savannah Osler shows us how people who live next to the temple can put part of themselves into the foundation.
Temples like this one are sacred to the members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and some of the members have been invited to decorate and bring their own rocks to be used in the foundation of the Layton Temple.
Church members can decorate these rocks with paint, their testimony, their favorite scripture, and their name.
It was really cool to be able to be part of the foundation of the temple, to have your rock be part of it. So,
Temple crews will likely use these rocks in the foundation of the temple as well as the baptismal font.
The missionary there told us that they spread them in the foundation, and she said our rocks would probably be in the baptismal font part.
President Russell M. Nelson announced the Layton Temple on April 1st, 2018. The site dedication and groundbreaking happened on May 23, 2020. The temple has 2 attached end spires with an Angel Moroni statue. The temple is 87,000 square feet and is located on an 11.8-acre lot at the corner of Oak Hills Drive and Rosewood Lane on the southeast side of Layton.
Very personal feeling about having a piece of yourself that will be somewhere about as close to forever as it can get.
That's why this was such a cool thing, is like I get to be part of that. Even if it's something small, no one's ever going to see it.
The Layton, Utah Temple will be the 19th temple built in Utah and the 2nd temple built in Davis County following the Bountiful Utah Temple. Crews hope to complete the new temple in late 2022.
This rock project will help members in the Layton area to remember they are part of the temple throughout their entire life. Reporting for NewsLine in Provo, I'm Savannah Osler.
The streets of Central America are flooding as Tropical Depression Eta continues its route to the U.S. Honduras, Guatemala, and Belize could see nearly 30 inches of rain. Other nearby countries could see 20 inches or more. Eta made landfall on Tuesday on the Nicaraguan coast as a Category 4 hurricane. At least one person has died in Honduras and 4 in Guatemala due to the storm. Now, speaking of storms, we are getting a storm system that is going to be hitting us pretty hard this weekend. As you can see, we've got this bad boy coming in from the northwest that is going to be hitting us hard. Phase 1 will be bringing us cloudy temperatures and strong winds in the 20 to 30 mile per hour range. And then starting Saturday, Phase 2 will be right in the middle of that storm, which will bring us snow and rain. So be prepared for that. Luckily today, we still have the warm before the storm. Today's temperatures are looking nice. Here in Salt Lake and Provo, we have a high of 73. And a low in the mid-40s. In Wendover, we have a high of 65, low of 38. Vernal with our coldest temperature for the day, high of 64, low of 36. And in southern Utah, we are seeing all the warm weather with Richfield with a high of 75, low of 45, and St. George with a high of 73, low of 48. Now, that southern Utah 5-day forecast is going to be getting a little cloudy, as you can see. Like I said, we'll have those cloud coverages starting on Friday with your snow and rain hitting you. Later on in the weekend, you'll be getting Monday temperatures of 38 and 23 degrees. Kind of cold is an understatement. Northern Utah, we have the exact same trend going on, which again is going to be bringing you snow and rain with your cloud coverage hitting you and your temperatures in the low 40s, high 30s. So make sure you are prepared for this winter weather. Back to you guys.
Chaos in the Cougar Eat. BYU makes big changes to keep its hungry customers happy during the pandemic. Find out what's different in the dining room.
A couple of local students boost their business bankroll by building their own bling. We'll tell you where you can buy their baubles, bracelets, and bolo ties.
My mother was always very familiar with her neighborhood, but one day she stopped at the stop sign for much longer than usual, and she didn't know whether she should go forward or turn, and she wasn't even really sure where she was at. It was very unsettling for her.
I felt so much better after my son told me, "Mom, I don't want you to worry or be afraid. I'll be there for you and we'll figure it out."
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Because so many BYU students are learning remotely, the Cougar Eat is not as busy as it usually is. NewsLine reporter Lizeth Vejar is at the Cougar Eat to tell us how remote learning is taking its toll in the BYU dining services. Lizeth, how is a low student population on campus affecting BYU dining services?
The Cougar Eat is a lifesaver for busy students who come here to grab their breakfast, snacks, lunch, and dinner. But how has coronavirus changed this panorama?
Because of online and blended classes this semester, most BYU students don't need to come to campus, which means fewer students get their meals at the fast food court in the Wilkinson Center. Because of this lack of demand, the Cougar Eat had to reduce the hours of some of the stores, forcing them to open later and close earlier. As a result, many of the Cougar Eat employees got their hours cut.
I worked one shift a week at the Cougar Express, but then they had to cut everybody's hours, and so I decided to just work more at my other second job and let other people take those hours.
Some BYU students still want to come to the Cougar Eat to do homework or shop with friends.
I don't get my food, but I still do my homework here.
Some students enjoy the advantage of these changes that make the Cougar Eat more accessible.
A pro to the changes in the Cougar Eat, for me specifically, has just been the opportunity to just really pick where I want to eat from all these places. Not only that, but be able to choose where I want to sit.
We don't get to do big lines and I can get my food faster.
The Cougar Eat started some new procedures and policies to keep everyone safe, like distance between tables, limited capacity in the dining area, disinfecting the tables, cleaning the chairs and surfaces after every use, and disinfecting the water and drinking stations every 30 minutes. And the employees have to wear gloves and change them often or wash their hands every 30 minutes.
Cougar Eat employers and supervisors are hoping by next fall, school comes back to in-person learning. But it only depends on the turn that coronavirus is going to take. I'm Lizeth Vejar reporting for NewsLine.
Thanks, Lizeth.
Two BYU students started their own custom ring-making business in their apartment. Newsline reporter Emma Evans tells us how the idea of starting their own business went from a dream to reality.
We both love rings. Like, we buy like a ton of rings, like too many. And we were like, I bet you we could make these. Like how hard could it really be?
Best friends and roommates, Kenzie Jenkins and Macy Wells, decided that instead of paying for expensive rings, they would just make their own.
Like, instead of spending the money, why not make the money, you know?
The girls bought the equipment, watched some YouTube videos, and got to work. They set up an Instagram account where customers can customize their own ring from a variety of gems and band designs, and started working on a website.
There's different parts. So, like, there's the bezels, like they can customize. There's different bezels they can do, different bands they can do, just stuff like that. And so that's kind of what the Google Doc was for.
Each ring currently takes about 4 hours to assemble, and despite a lot of trial and error, the girls enjoy working together. Someday, they hope to quit their day jobs so they can focus on building their business, and appear well on their way to achieving that goal with the help of a couple store owners who have already offered to sell the rings in their stores.
I'd say just to go for it, but definitely do your research. Just kind of keep going. And if you really have that desire, like if you have that like passion for what you want to do, you can make it work. And it's not always easy, but I think it's worth it.
Right now, Jenkins and Wells are focusing on perfecting their rings, but they hope to branch out to other items like bracelets, pendants, and bolo ties. If you want to customize your own gem ring, check out @59gemco on Instagram. Reporting for Newsline, I'm Emma Evans.
In 2020, some sights are too shocking to forget.
And Mr. Pringle without his mustache, that might be one of them. You heard it correctly, Mr. Pringle is taking on a new clean-shaven look for the whole month of November. The lack of stash is in honor of Men's Health Month, or Movember. Most men participate by growing out their facial hair, but since Mr. Pringle already has a full and bushy brown bristles, the mascot made the ultimate manscaping sacrifice. If you don't want to grow a mustache, you can participate in Men's Health Month by running or walking 60 miles this month. Thanks for joining us today on Newsline.
For more information on our stories or to share them with your friends, check out our website at universe.byu.edu/newsline.
Have a